Friends from the hospitality, tourism and travel industry of Kolkata, it is indeed a pleasure and privilege for me to welcome you on behalf of India Tourism Kolkata to the first edition of Trav Adda, a series of Adda, which is an informal session of discussions for travel, tourism and related anecdotal references, history that goes back to the days of our freedom struggle and even beyond. So the idea behind Trav Adda is to have this exchange of notes, sharing of thoughts and ideas on the various tourism products, the various circuits, the various destinations that we have, and to again share our experiences that we have gathered over the years. We have some very rich repository of knowledge here in the form of our guides, the regional level guides, the tour operators, the hoteliers who have been in the industry for several decades now. The idea behind Trav Adda came from the need to stress on the concepts of Dekho Apna Desh, Ek Bharat Shresht Bharat, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which we are celebrating in the wake of India's 75th Independence Day, where we try to share our experiences and our knowledge about our destinations, the experiences that we offer, and it goes out to the millions and millions of tourists out there, both domestic and international. Today's theme would be that of the freedom struggle of India and the heroes of the freedom struggle, sung and unsung. Today we also have a number of guests with us who will be sharing some knowledge and a lot of anecdotal references, a lot of anecdote stories, a lot of folklore with us and enrich us with their experiences. So let the Addas begin.
Our Trav Adda session will start with the story of Shubhendu Mukherjee.
It was late 18th century, a chilling day of winter, a bright and sunny day, and it was a beautiful day for playing cricket. In the Baharampur cantonment, the British soldiers with their officers are playing cricket. In the meanwhile, there is a palanquin passed by the field, which disrupted the game. This made Colonel Dufferin very, very annoyed. He rushed to the palanquin and he became mad to see there's an Indian inside the palanquin. He rained some punches on the palanquin bearers and bring the man out, and he abused the man, but he made a monumental mistake. Why? The man was a deputy collector of Baharampur. You guess so, this man was Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. This was not a very minor incident. This was a cognizable offense, and a criminal case was put there in the court. So Colonel Dufferin was summoned. Both of them meet there at the court. It was a British officer and one Indian official. They meet there, and the judges were British judges. They would like to save their face. So they requested Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay to withdraw the case, mitigate it mutually. Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay agreed to it with the condition that Dufferin has to pay the penalty by apologizing Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in front of huge number of Indian and the British people present. He did it. As a roar comes from the back, it's the win, the victory for the Indians for the first time. So the idea sparked off in his mind while he was resting at the Lalgola Palace after the invitation of the host. And there, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay thought of a plan to beat the British with a heavy score. The abusement, the insult, the humiliation of Mother India, he mixed it with his own humiliation and combined it together in such a form with the idea of spiritual, intellectual, and the nationalism thought that it became a key slogan for the Indians, which became a national song of the country later. This is the background story of Vande Mataram. Before I finish, those freedom fighters who played a big role there in the Indian struggle for freedom, to put that power behind, I would request you to say once again with a full Josh, Vande Mataram! Vande Mataram!
Thanks to Shubhendu Mukherjee for his enlightening story. Now, our next storyteller, Brototi Shaha.
Today I am going to share a story of actual mutiny which happened in Barakpur itself on 1824 under the leadership of Bindi Tiwari. It was the time of Anglo-Burmese War. A regiment of Bengal infantry arrived from Mathura to Barakpur, and from there they prepared to reach Bangladesh, present day, and that time to enter Burmese territory. All the soldiers are already very tired after the long march from Mathura. So at that point of time, they were given the instruction, it was the month of November, that they should start their march to Chittagong. And they found that there was no bullock cart or bullock available to take their knapsacks. It was a heavy knapsack. And when they raised these concerns to all the regiments, to the officer in charge, they found the rate of bullocks are very high, which are not possible to pay from out of their pockets. So they asked for the arrangement of bullocks from the regiment itself, or they asked for the second option to double their battas. Commander in charge was not that much convinced with their request. He said that okay, I am paying few amount and you try to manage, and everything that you can carry in your knapsack you carry, rest of the things you can leave behind. That made a confusion among all the regiments. First, remember, on the morning time they were asked to reach the parade ground, and from there they are supposed to start for Chittagong. All the regiments, they arrived at the parade ground but without any knapsack, rather with their arms. They obeyed the order, they stand over there, but they didn't move inches from their position. This movement was considered as an armed mutiny by Edward Paget. He asked for 2 European troops from Calcutta, 1 governor's bodyguard troop from Calcutta, and 1 horse artillery from nearby Dum Dum. They arrived 2nd November early morning at Barakpur. Mr. Paget first time gave an order to all the soldiers that they should leave their arms and without any discussion they should move towards Burma. And it said they only got 10 minutes to decide whether they want to accept it or they want to reject. Just after 10 minutes, 2 cannon started their bombarding over the parade ground. Along with 2 other European troops, they attacked them from all the directions, and the horse artillery started chasing the soldiers till Nilganj in present day. At the end, there were 12 soldiers, including Bindi Tiwari, were hanged from a banyan tree, and that tree is still there. With the temple, which was made by the colleagues, at that time the other colleagues, it's still known as the Bindi Tiwari temple or Bindi Baba temple, which is standing at Barakpur. Some neighborhood people like women, children, they were also killed during this massacre. It said approximately 1800 soldiers along with 400 to 600 local people died during that mission. So that was the story of the first mutiny of India. It happened in the same place where the famous mutiny of 1857 happened. So these kind of small stories are all over in our India. We just need to dig them up, we just need to remind them, we just need to mesmerize the sacrifices of this true Indian leader. Thank you.
Our third speaker, Malini Basu.
Namaskar. Today I will be telling you the story of Rishi Aurobindo, not as the spiritual person but as the revolutionary. I will be narrating you the incidents that had happened the day he was arrested from his 48 Grey Street residence. The date was 2nd of May 1908. He was sleeping peacefully in his room when suddenly at about 5 in the morning he was awakened by the sharp cries of his niece, who came calling in and ran into the room. She was followed by a group of policemen who entered with guns in hand. This party of policemen was headed by Superintendent Craigan, Mr. Clark and Sriman Binod Kumar Gupta. Superintendent Clark entered and asked, "Is the man inside the room Aurobindo?" He was told, "Yes, he is Aurobindo." And immediately he told a policeman to arrest the man. Aurobindo wanted to know the reason and wanted to see the arrest warrant. He was shown the warrant. Aurobindo read through it and signed it. And from the reference of bombs in the warrant, he gathered that this was connected to the Muzaffarpur bomb throwing incident. But he did not understand why there was such a haste in arresting him without any evidence, without any witnesses. But anyway, he was handcuffed and a rope was tied around his waist. 2 more men followed the same trial. They were also handcuffed and they were brought in the same room. They were Avinash Bhattacharya and Shoilen Bose. Initially, Craigan behaved in a very distasteful manner. But after some verbal communication with Sri Aurobindo, he softened and then somebody ordered to remove the handcuff and the rope. A thorough search began with every little bit in his room. Every paper, every document was scrutinized. Aurobindo was pretty unperturbed because he was very sure that no important document connected to any kind of conspiracy or any formula about bomb making was present in his house. The search went on from 5:30 in the morning to 11:30. Around 11:30, the 3 men were taken to the police station. They were allowed to take bath over there and have some lunch. After that, they were taken to Lal Bazaar, where they had to wait for a couple of hours. And then from there, they were again taken to Royal Street. This was the place where they had to spend the entire evening. So these are some of the events that happened on 2nd of May 1908. That was the day Sri Aurobindo was arrested. So that's my story, which is not commonly known about Sri Aurobindo. We mostly know him as the spiritual person, but he was also a great revolutionary. Thank you.
So like today, we will meet in such kind of Trav Adda every week in this auditorium at the India Tourism Kolkata's office.